We're going to be talking a little bit about what community means to Ronald and to Chris. Do you want to just start us off, Ronald, and just say a little bit about what community means to you?
Hello, everybody. What community? Thank you for inviting me. When I first got a message from in the week, I thought it was a mistake. So I didn't respond to it. I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's a mistake. Because community, for me, tends to be me being excluded or feeling excluded. And I don't want to talk too much about my experience, especially one year. I don't want to talk too much about my experience, which mostly has been one of feeling culturally excluded, misunderstood and stigmatized, vilified, often perhaps because of them not understanding me, following me sustaining a brain injury and stroke. I would seem to be a problem in my community. I used to get emotional a lot and I did behave a bit irrational, I guess. But that was when I needed help and understanding I didn't get it. I'm not complaining, and I don't want to talk too much about my situation, but community wasn't a good place for me. This is a beautiful community. I like this. I came here, I met some people downstairs, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I think going forward, I just want to say beautiful things about community, because I've had some beautiful experiences also. So I'll answer that later on the question.
Thank you, Ronald. Chris, would you like to say a little bit about what community means to you, please?
That was loud. Hi everybody, it's a pleasure to be invited to be here, so thank you, Hilary. Ronald and I have been friends for a number of years now, and we support one another. We're a good team. We've tried to write some poetry together, so we formed our own little community many years ago. And I can remember Ronald and I were invited to give a talk to new members of staff from the Alzheimer's Society. And Ronald came along and it was the first thing that he'd done. And he was exceptionally nervous, weren't you? Still nervous. To the point where he didn't feel he could talk. So we buddied up together and he did talk. And Ronald has some wonderful things to share. We then went on and wrote a little poem together. And I'm not a poet. Ronald is the one with the poetry and the music abilities. But to me, community can provide a sense of belonging and a place where you can be you. And I know that NAPA provides that. I'm proud to be an ambassador for NAPA because they do the things that mean a lot to me. And if I end up in a care home, I want NAPA to be in charge. So I've got lots more I can say, but that's what community is to me. Provide a sense of belonging, a place where you can be you. And communities can be small, like Ronald and I, or they can be big groups.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So in terms of your experience of living with dementia, what are the communities that are important to you, Ronald?
Communities that are, I love the idea of diversity. I like all-inclusive communities. I find that a very beautiful place. I grew up in a very diverse world. And what was the question?
When you're living with dementia, the communities that are important to you particularly?
The communities where I can deal with people and situations where I feel I don't have to always explain myself, and I feel that I can have beautiful conversations. And I found the most beautiful community I encountered was when I started to engage with people who had health concerns like myself. when I met Chris, the Deep Network, and I spent time with them, I realized that life can be really beautiful when you're dealing with situations whereby you're accepted just for who and how you are, and it involves creativity. Sorry, I talk too much.
No, that was really helpful. Thank you. Chris, do you want to add to that?
How do you follow Ronald? To me, I think the most important thing we have to remember is the equality, diversity and inclusion, and that covers all groups. And engaging in local activities and events are very important to me. I live right by the sea in front in Eastbourne, and I love walking along the seafront. And I go to a dementia cafe in the woods, and it's wonderful to be in nature, to be outdoors. And we're even trusted to light fires and things like that, you know. And always and often people say, you have dementia, you can't learn new things. We can. We can learn new things. And I think all of you in the room today, you know that we can learn new things. And I think that community provides a sense of purpose and belonging. It's good to have social interaction and opportunities for physical and mental stimulation. And peer support is so important. As Ronald said, we don't have to explain ourselves to each other. We can just be us. We can just be us. And we accept each other for what we are.
Wonderful, thank you both. And the last question is, and I know that this is something that you both have spoken about before, should you need care and support services in time, what are the communities that you hope those care services will connect with so that you have a positive experience?
First of all, I'd like to, if there's a care service, I'd like it to be under the umbrella of something like this, NAPA, because from all the things I'm starting to hear about NAPA, that feels like a beautiful world to be, a beautiful place to be. I would just like to be somewhere where I feel I'm not just going to be pushed in the side room and left to fade away. I'd just like to be somewhere where I can just be happy, basically, and I can just be a part of everything, and not just be an afterthought or a token that overall equation of things. Sometimes they might come and feed me, sometimes they may not, because I seem to be a problem. So if I sound a bit emotional about things, but there's a lot I'd like to say, but in this environment, this is just beautiful. And thank you again for inviting me.
Well, your music has been very important to you, Ronald, hasn't it, over the years? You know, you've had a long history in the music industry. So that's an important community for you. How might, you know, if you needed care, how might an activity provider help you to connect with your love of music?
Oh, for me, and once again I apologise, because once I start talking I don't stop. Music gave me a voice. The arts, poetry and creative expressions is what made me, after 4 years of sitting around at Edway and being expected to be waiting for a care in the morning and to be reliant on medication, I found my voice and my joyful life when I got involved in creative activities. So music, art, poetry, working with people, co-writing. You know, I'd like to be in a place where there's the joy of creativity and arts, because that's like medicine for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And Chris, for you as well, I mean, we know you're a dementia craftivist. How has crafting and the arts helped you over the last few years, and what would you want included in an activity programme?
Lots of crafts. I love doing things with my hands, and I love being outdoors. And I did one thing with NAPA, with a care home, and we moulded leaves into clay and painted them. So the activity started by collecting the leaves, so something like that is brilliant. One thing I wanted to say is that I'm a member of the LGBTQ+ community, I said that without making a mistake, it's tough. And I think that inclusion is so difficult. And if you're living with dementia, that's a stigma. If you're living with dementia and you're a member of that community, it's like having a double stigma. I've got a friend who's a transgender man, and he has been looking to go into a care home. He's 50. And he contacted 10 care homes around where he lived, and 8 of them said, "You're under 65, we can't even consider taking you." And the other 2 said, "Well, we'll try and meet your needs." He said, "I don't want you to try and meet my needs, and I want you to meet my needs." And they said that the average age in our care homes is 82. We need care homes for young people, and more people are being diagnosed younger with dementia now. And sorry, I'm going off track a bit, but one other example I wanted to give you. I heard this true story about a transgender woman in a care home. And very often you'll find that LGBTQ plus people will have family of choice, not necessarily their blood family. Because very often their blood family may have disowned them because of their sexuality. And this transgender lady was in a care home, and her blood parents went in and said, "This is not Jane, this is our son John. You don't dress him in women's clothing, you dress him in men's clothing." And that's why often it's family of choice for LGBTQ plus people. And don't make assumptions. Very often people say to me, "Oh, your partner, what's his name?" And I have to stop and say, "My partner's a woman." So just say, "What's your partner's name?" There's just so many little things, but I'll stop there. If I go in a care home, and I've said if my dementia gets too much for my partner, I will go to a care home. But please don't pay me virulent songs. Make me do things that are way, way old. I want to do things that are meaningful today. And I love music, and I see that Lily's here. Lily, you have got my most amazing voice. So just do things that include me and everybody else. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you both so much. Thank you both so much. And Chris and Ronald are going to be spending the day with us. So please have chats with them. I'm sure they'll be really happy to talk to you all. And they're hanging around. So thank you both very, very much. Another round of applause, please.